Well, g'day, fishos. Firstly, apologies for last week. I actually had the man flu, so I couldn't talk last week, which is probably a good thing. But that's the reason for no fishery report last week. Had the man flu, could not talk a word. So some people actually like that, but there you go. So we're back into it this week, although the weather, I tell you what, whenever we're going to get a break from the rain, it'd be great, but I can't see that happening in the forthcoming future. But anyway, we just got to deal with it. We can still go fishing. We're still kicking, which means we can get out there and throw a line in the water. So little bit of a report this week, not much, unfortunately, due to obviously those weather conditions, although last weekend was pretty good weather-wise. I was stuck in bed. But there was some really nice snapper caught offshore last weekend with that little bit of a window. Although the bay is dirty, there's still some really nice fish kicking around in the bay at the moment. So we'll begin with there. As you'd expect, plenty of bream around at the moment. Our young staff member, Jay, he's been throwing plastics around both the breakwalls, the Anchorage and Nelson Bay, getting some really nice bream. He's been getting some little mulloway, so he's been doing really well on the plastics. He's been using gulp prawns. He's been doing the Eco Gear prawns and also the Z-Man Slim Swims as well. So throwing a variety of plastics and catching fish on every single one of them. Some really nice bream, 40 centimetre bream. So young Jay's doing the ticket there. If you want some info off him, he'll be here on Saturday. So young Jay, pretty successful young fisho and enjoys his fishing, land-based especially, but gets out there in the boat as well. But any info you want out of Jay, come and see him. He'll be here on Saturday. So some good fish there. Ludrick, heaps of Ludrick around. So many Ludrick. Everybody's bagging out on Ludrick, as you'd expect this time of year. So plenty of Luddos down on the breakwalls, both Nelson Bay and also the Anchorage and also Little Beach as well off the disabled wharf there as well. So plenty happening there. And also at Shoal Bay as well. So Shoal Bay Wharf, there's been a few Ludrick underneath the wharf there. There's been a few Tailor there as well. If you can get a shoulder spot there, a few people like to shoulder in and muscle in there, but if you can throw a metal lure off Shoal Bay Wharf, you will get some Tailor there, especially first light and last light. So just barge away in there, cast a metal spinner in there, and you'll catch a Tailor. So don't be alarmed by a couple of old fellas down there that get a little bit grumpy, that's for sure. But anyway, they'll be fine. So red hot tip there. So that's what's happening in the bay at the moment. It's a little bit hit and miss. There are a couple of mulloway around. Spoke to Rod and Ray. They were fishing vibes up around the rock wall. So Bremen got a couple of nice mulloway up there as well on the tide changes. So I think with that dirty water, the tide changes are definitely going to be the ticket there. And if the rain stops and we decide to get some warmer weather in towards spring, I think it'll be an unbelievable flathead season. So let's fingers crossed that rain does back off and we get a really, really good flathead season coming into spring, late spring. It should be pretty good, I reckon, anyway. So moving on to the rocks and beaches, plenty of bream around on the beaches, some really nice bream around. If you can get on the beaches, a little bit of a swell, I think, this weekend. Just keep an eye on it, but those southern corners might be a little bit protected. There's a bit of southeast blowing this weekend off the back of that low to the north of us there. I don't think it's going to be as gnarly as the north coast, but it's still going to be a southeast winds this weekend. But give it a crack. Those southern corners might be the key to it, like 1 mile, Middle Rock there. You can get in, tuck into Middle Rock as well. Southern corner of Fingal might be worth a shot, or walk all the way over to the northern side of the spit there and have a fish up that way as well. So plenty of salmon around as well. So now they're on like Donkey Kong the salmon. So casting metals or sinking hard bodies into the washes there, you'll catch plenty of salmon. And there has been some good tail around as well. So definitely worth a shot there. On the rocks, like I said, there's plenty of drum around. There's snapper, so definitely worth a shot on the rocks. Just watch that swell this weekend, but it'd be worth a shot on the rocks as well. Now, the offshore, I think it's going to be a little bit of a write-off this weekend, but there were plenty of good snapper caught in the shallows last weekend, even though the water was dirty. Some pearl perch out wider. I spoke to the boys there, and they actually got some really nice pearl perch and some kingies as well down towards Allmark. So Jamie and the boys did really well there. So some nice fish out there, but I don't think you're going to get to Allmark this weekend. But it'd be worth a shot when the weather clears up to have a jig out there for a few kings. So that's about it in a nutshell. I know it's a sweet, short report, but it's just the weather, unfortunately. But that's it. Get out there, get amongst it. It'll definitely be worth a bit of a fish around the bay this weekend.